Amsterdam. Without official notice from agencies or local media, BTS's Jin's presence at Amsterdam's Schiphol airport on Tuesday morning surprised hundreds of people in the international arrivals terminal. Several amateur videos recorded by fans showed a chaotic atmosphere full of hysteria as the modestly dressed figure with a hat and mask walked quickly out of the VIP arrivals area. And when fans realized it was Jin, a BTS member who recently resumed his global activities after his military service, the crowd broke out instantly. Is this sudden appearance part of a promotional strategy, or is there another reason that has not yet been officially revealed? The fact that neither Korean nor international media has divulged Jin's departure schedule adds another layer of mystery to the situation. ARMY. The name for BTS fans who happened to be at the airport immediately filled the area while shouting Jin's name, with some of them even seen crying because they did not expect to be able to witness his presence in person. Security was immediately tightened. The airport authorities seemed overwhelmed by the wave of enthusiasm from the fans who continued to arrive after the news of Jin's presence spread quickly on social media. According to eyewitnesses, in less than 30 minutes, the arrival terminal was packed with hundreds of soldiers who came running from various corners of the airport with banners, merchandise, and cameras. One airport staffer, who did not want to be named, said they did not get any prior notice from the artist's management regarding Jin's arrival. He also added that additional security was only deployed after there was a significant concentration of crowds around the VIP exit. "We thought this was an ordinary VVIP passenger. It turned out that as soon as his face was visible, the whole area turned into an impromptu welcome stage," he said. Some fans who managed to record the moment uploaded it to social media, and in a short time, the videos were trending globally. One of the clips even shows Jin, who had turned his head and smiled slightly at the fans before getting into a black van that had been waiting for him. The silence and simplicity of the gesture actually amplified the emotional effect for many who witnessed it. Not a few comments refer to Jin's appearance as a spiritual experience and a moment that will never be forgotten. Until this news was revealed, HYB labels and Big Hit Music had not given an official statement regarding the reason for Jin's arrival to the Netherlands. But various speculations began to emerge. One of them is the allegation that Jin will appear in a series of private events titled Run Seokjin EP Tour 2025, which some time ago was touted to enter the European region in the second half of this year. Jin's presence in Amsterdam, if it is part of the tour, is certainly an early signal that BTS's global activities, or at least Jin's solo, are being structured differently than usual. Furthermore, there is also speculation that Jin will attend a special collaboration with European musicians or attend a world-level fashion event that happens to be held in Amsterdam this week. But there is no concrete evidence that corroborates that possibility. To be sure, his presence has become a hot topic and is in the spotlight of the international media in a matter of hours. Interestingly, some fans noticed that Jin was wearing a hoodie that read, "Amsterdam, I'm back, are you ready?" coming out of the airport terminal. This further strengthens the suspicion that Amsterdam is indeed one of the important locations in Jin's latest project. The writing on the clothes seemed to be a silent announcement for his loyal fans who had been waiting for the news of his physical comeback. One German fan who took a road trip to Amsterdam stated that he felt very lucky to be able to witness this event. "I've been following all the news since the tour started in America, but I never expected Jin to come this fast to Europe without an official announcement. This proves that he always knows how to surprise." The impact of this sudden appearance was not only felt on social media and among fans, but also affected airport traffic noticeably. Some flight schedules were reported to have been delayed due to security adjustments at some entry points. Airport security authorities are even reportedly conducting an immediate evaluation to anticipate a surge in the mass of fans if Jin reappears in other public places while in the Netherlands, a number of local media outlets began speculating that Jin would be performing at a surprise event that had not yet been announced to the public. Meanwhile, several digital billboards in the center of Amsterdam began displaying the Run Seokjin logo, adding to the public's curiosity about the real agenda of Jin's presence this time. Is Amsterdam just a starting point, or is it part of a larger global promotion chain? If you look at the trends that have occurred in the past 2 weeks, Jin seems to be self-organizing most of his stage activities and public promotions. This indicates a more independent direction in the management of the post-military career. No wonder his unannounced presence in Amsterdam became a deliberate strategy to create greater emotional and viral impact. Whatever its purpose, one thing has been proven: BTS's Jin retains the magnetic power to stop time wherever it appears. The overwhelming enthusiasm at Amsterdam airport shows that its popularity and influence not only persist, but also continue to grow. When thousands of people gather just because of one cryptic message and one figure wearing a hoodie, then the biggest question is no longer what happened. Rather, what will happen next? For armies around the world, this moment is a warning that anything can happen at any time. No official schedule? No problem. No big promotions? Not an obstacle. Because one appearance of a genie is enough to shake a city. For those of you who want to keep getting exclusive updates about BTS's Jin activities in Amsterdam and other cities, be sure to subscribe to this channel right now. Do not miss important information and the next special moment that could have happened without a signal. Continuing the previous discussion, the phenomenon of BTS's sudden appearance of Jin at the Amsterdam airport not only created excitement, but also gave rise to various reactions, interpretations, and public debates. A moment that in an instant dominated the global conversation through platforms such as TikTok, Twitter, to YouTube now requires us to pause and ask, is all this really real? Or are we being led into a stream of media sensationalism wrapped in a surprise narrative? If we look deeper, there is no official statement from the relevant agency until now. There were no press releases, no official announcements on the HYB labels or big hit music websites, not even reports of departures from Incheon International Airport, which is usually the starting point for all the global activity of South Korean artists. Then, why did BTS Jin's presence in Amsterdam suddenly spread so quickly? Is this just a viral illusion formed by amateur video footage that cannot necessarily be verified forensically? Visual sources circulating on social media, which were later compiled by various fan accounts, did show someone very similar to Jin. However, is a mere visual resemblance sufficient to serve as the basis for a claim to the truth of an event? Is it that in today's digital age, we as an audience have been too quick to believe just because of one upload that looks emotional and stunning? These questions are important to raise, especially when the information comes from social media outlets that do not essentially undergo a rigorous journalistic verification process. On TikTok, many accounts present breaking news without a source. On Twitter, a single upload with the word breaking is enough to trigger a wave of retweets and global trending. On YouTube, footage that is claimed to be original footage may have gone through an editing process to create a certain illusion. So where is the truth in this euphoric frenzy? Is it possible, for example, that Genie's presence in Amsterdam was simply engineering a promotional team to test the market reaction? Or furthermore, is this part of a covert marketing strategy that deliberately exploits mass hysteria to gauge the potential of the European market before the release of the next project? Don't we, as consumers of information, need to put ourselves in a neutral position and ask, who benefits most from all this? Reality in the post-truth era pushes us to be more critical. Facts and opinions often mix without clear boundaries. Narratives shaped by virality on social media can trump journalistic investigative reporting. In this context, information about the so-called genie appears with a hoodie that says, "Amsterdam, I'm back, are you ready?" Even its authenticity is questionable. Does the writing really look clear and authentic? Or is it just the result of digital design that is deliberately spread to form an atmosphere of exclusivity? On the other hand, there is no less important philosophical question. Why are we so easily touched by moments like this? Is it because BTS's Jin figure has become a symbol of comfort and hope in the lives of its fans? Or is it because in a world full of uncertainty, surprises like this provide a kind of emotional tension that is pleasant to live together? In that case, is this moment more of an emotional collective experience than a factual occurrence? As an audience, we are invited to reflect on our position. Are we just connoisseurs of information? Or are we part of the production and distribution of information that is not necessarily valid? If we participate in the dissemination of a video or narrative without checking its validity, are we not part of a chain of dissemination of information that could be inaccurate? Therefore, we invite readers to re-question every aspect of this news. For example, why are there no professional journalists documenting this moment? Is the video in circulation accompanied by metadata that can be checked? Is there any real evidence that the genie was actually in Amsterdam on the claimed date and time? And more importantly, why do we want to believe it? We live in an age when reality can be created through algorithms, when visuals can be manipulated with technological sophistication, and when public attention is the most valuable commodity. In this context, news like "Genie suddenly arrives at Amsterdam airport" can be a covert communication project that is bigger than just celebrity news. However, this does not mean that we should be cynical. What is needed is a healthy attitude of skepticism, the ability to enjoy information while still refraining from swallowing it raw. We need space to question, criticize, and re-examine without losing appreciation for the emotional moments. Until there is official confirmation, BTS's Jin presence in Amsterdam remains somewhere between reality and possibility. It is a moment lived at the intersection of fact and perception. And this is where the importance of our role as an active audience, not passive, that we also want to emphasize that the information we convey in this article comes from various media uploads such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, as well as analysis from the international fan community. However, we recognize that the veracity of such information still requires further verification. Therefore, we strongly advise readers not to swallow the whole narrative and to continue to be wary of potential manipulation of content aimed at creating sensation. As part of an increasingly digitally connected global community, we hold a responsibility to distinguish between fact and fiction, between authentic and engineered shock, between love of idols and entrapment in the euphoria of the uncritical masses. Are you sure the genie is really in Amsterdam? Or is it part of a collective narrative? Are we already critical enough in receiving information? Or do we just want to believe because we want to feel closer to the person we admire? These questions are not to corner, but to open up wider thinking space. Let's be a smart, critical audience and still be able to enjoy the moment with full awareness. And for those of you who want to keep getting the latest updates, in-depth analysis, and live coverage of BTS's Jin activities and other global phenomena, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now. Be part of a community that not only follows trends, but also dares to think further behind the scenes. Tanya ChatGPT.